given that we're in a hydrated atmosphere, given that the universe is full of water. If I play 528 in my room here in Hawaii, and you now are in Los Angeles, you shall have an impact. It's very subtle, but it's very real. And what is that impact? I believe with all my heart, all my faith, and all my knowledge that it is the fulfillment of the Old and New Testament prophecy. In the Old Testament, it's Isaiah 22:22. In the New Testament, it's Revelation 3:6 through 8. It deals with the key to the house of David that opens doors that no man can close and closes doors that no man can open. A key is a musical note. Those doors that men cannot open deal with spiritual portals. The greatest, most important portal, the greatest, most important of 7 seals to unseal in the book of Revelation is the heart chakra. 7 main chakras, 7 main seals. Take the block off of the heart chakra because we've all been in our heads. And this also, by the way, this deals with the music of slavery. If you know anything about music, you know the standard for the Western world's tuning is a 440 hertz frequency. And that has been determined by the Rockefeller Foundation through military science audiology investigations to create the most stress, psychosocial stress and trauma, and even, quote, mass hysteria, end quote, in people listening to what the institutionalization of the Western world's music has become. So 528, we're now engaging the music world. All the musicians and vocalists out there who do what they do because they love it, because they know they do it best when their hearts are in it and their hearts are literally singing or performing for the Creator. Those are the top musicians and vocalists and performers. Those folks we're attracting en masse right now. There's a revolution, a musical revolution that we started, and now it is accelerating very rapidly. And each time any musician or vocalist or you or I play 528, it adds that opening to people's hearts. It resonates, it vibrates this divinity for optimal sustainability and healing. So this is what's taking place. It's an extremely exciting time, and I'm thrilled to share it with you.
It's extremely exciting, and I've always wondered what the 528 came from, how you found out about it, what you're doing with it, and it's very exciting. I do want to ask you one last question. There's so many questions I could ask you, but there's only so many hours in a day, and that is that I know that you've worked very closely with Dr. Emoto, and I wondered if you could share some of your revelations in your conversations with him.
Well, the best news on the planet, which is why I'm in Hawaii right now, if you go to breathoftheearth.net, breath, B-R-E-A-T-H, of the earth.net, you'll see our place, our magnificent Aina, or sacred land, on the big island of Hawaii, which is where Dr. Emoto has suggested that he would like to have his Hawaii Institute and laboratory. It would be part of 26-acre estate that we've set aside 6 acres for the International Institute for Native and Natural Healing to honor the wisdom of the elders and the holy persons. And on that estate, we have Hawaii's only lava-heated steam saunas and geothermal warm pools, and we harvest the breath of the earth, lava-heated steam, which Dr. Emoto took back to Japan and then had analyzed and sent me the films. And Dr. Emoto's principal concept, which I completely endorse, is that water is conscious. Because I said water is part of the triune God, you can literally consider it the closest thing that you're going to touch or feel of God on earth. And that, as I mentioned, it's in space, so it's on earth as it is in heaven, this liquid crystal superconductor that's conscious. That is, it responds to your prayers. It responds to you personally. That means that it is this superconscious. It is this. It has this divine essence and capability, and that the concept that it changes structure and primarily reflects the six-sided hexagonal shape Star of David, that key of David, the key to the house of David, represents the key to all of the sacred geometry in the universe. Again, this is Victor Showell's mathematical proofs. It goes back to what I shared earlier about 5,280 feet in a mile, based on 528 being fundamental to the what's called the musical mathematical matrix of creation. It's mathematics that create, and water is the superconductor of the mathematics, the frequency, the language of the creator being math, and the vibration moving through water that creates. The snowflake is a great example of the physical form. So is the honeycomb of a bee, the six-sided hexagon. The shape of the water molecule is a tetrahedron, and Victor Showell's math goes into an analysis of the Saqqara pyramids, the tetrahedron structure, again, being related to 528 and the sacred notes of the original solfeggio musical scale. So the conversations that I have with Dr. Emoto deal primarily with advancing the truth that shall set everyone free, recognizing with love and thanks. Because if you look at another great website I recommend is the Water Resonator, thewaterresonator.com. And there you'll see a little image of what's called the perfect circle of sound with love and thanks and 528 that we put on water. And when you put that image with those numbers and those frequencies, especially with your own prayer, your heartfelt loving intention to bless the water, what happens is that the water becomes blessed. It becomes more six-sided and structurally healthier. The what's called ORP's oxidative reduction, or its wettability, goes up. That means its ability to bring nutrients into your body goes up. And all of this happens miraculously by the image and or the spoken word of these frequencies, these numbers, and the sacred geometry of it. So we've really demystified for a lot of people how it is that you could put words on a glass and have the water change its structure.
You know what? I did a show back in 2004 with 5 water experts, totally different from all over the world. And in that show, I learned that water has not only consciousness, it has memory, like an elephant. I had no idea. Fascinating.
Exactly right. And it has memory, and so does all the crystals. You know, and this is not New Age hairy-fairy stuff. This is actual science where you begin to realize that's where homeopathy comes into play, where you no longer have the physical substance that you want to impart into the being, to the human being or to the animal. You have the resonant energy, the frequency vibration that is in memory in the crystal of the water. So all of this is just fabulous, and again, it's paradigm shifting, and it ultimately will put Big Pharma out of business.
Some people might say, and I don't want you to be offended when I say this, but sometimes people have real issues when they go to a site and someone's selling products. But the thing is that I know that if the products out there aren't working and aren't effective, you got to create your own products. Is that what you did with the OxySilver?
Actually, I was blessed by OxySilver to bring this concept for the first time to health science, is delivering the 528 hertz frequency, which we impart via a argon laser, as well as at the same time we're hitting it intensely with this greenish yellow 528 frequency. We're also putting the music of 528, the pure tone 528 hertz, into this double superconductor, because again, I mentioned water is a liquid crystal superconductor, and so is silver. So in this particular case, you have probably the most powerful silver hydride